Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to your daily divine messages from Spirit. Welcome to this Monday morning, or whenever this message finds you, this Moon Day message. If you're new to my channel, my name is Princess Leah. I'm an intuitive artist and healer. I pull the highest frequencies from Spirit through the healing arts, the performing arts, to heal the heart of a woman and the soul of mankind. Lately, I've been playing with that phrase. That's always been my mission, healing the heart of a woman and the soul of mankind through conscious love. But recently, with my just different shifts and awakenings, I think as we all are coming into more of our authentic truth and path, I just keep hearing myself say, healing the heart of a man, the sacred feminine, and the soul of all living kind through conscious love. So that's pretty much what I'm here for. Pretty much what I'm doing my best to provide and to align with through all of my different styles and methods, using prophetic downloads as a way to channel messages from Spirit, using tarot, using the oracles, using dance, using music, writing, healing our wounds, clearing our chakras. I do tap into and have been for about 5 years. I started the interest of tantric healing as another beautiful avenue of healing our sacral wounds from trauma that the feminine stores, and moving that up into our heart wounds that the masculine stores their trauma in. And as we all carry the feminine and masculine energy within us, this is something that we all can balance and heal. And really, by heal, I mean gather, reconnect, remind ourselves of our wholeness, of who we truly are, and reconnect with that in its fullest. So let's step into our heart space and see what kind of prophetic downloads from the sound bowl that Spirit will have with us for us today. You can place your hand on your heart. And if these messages resonate with you, then these messages are for you. Today's message came the title of Trusting Yourself. That is Spirit's message to us today. Moon Day, the Monday associated with the moon. We are in our full moon in Scorpio portal. It'll reach its peak at 11:55 a.m. Central Standard Time. And the entire weekend, the moon has been in Scorpio. Mother's Day, I believe it moved into Scorpio on Saturday afternoon. I want to say Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. And so there has been some intense shifts. You may have been experiencing the energy of Scorpio, ruled by the planets Pluto and Mars, the masculine planets of death, transformation, rebirth, passion, war. So maybe you've been experiencing a lot of ego deaths. Maybe you've been experiencing some things that you're realizing it's time to release and let go of for good. The karmic cycles that are coming to an end. Maybe you're experiencing actual physical death of a loved one. And I send my deepest prayers and my deepest love to those who have lost a loved one recently or during this portal. You know, Scorpio, they say, is associated with not just the scorpion, but also the eagle. As it transforms, as it evolves, it's almost like the phoenix with that death and transformation, the death and rebirth energy. It evolves like into an eagle to rise above, to rise from the ashes. And as we celebrate Mother's Day, which is the epitome of literal rebirth, it's not just the birth of a child that comes from the mother. By the way, happy Mother's Day to you beautiful, beloved mothers. Being a mother myself, for the last 8 years, I definitely am recognizing that the birth of my son was also a major death to who I used to be. It was a major transformation into a completely, I don't want to say completely different human, but yes, in many ways. And, you know, I shared on my Mother's Day post about how it wasn't until I had my son, as my root chakra was completely blasted wide open, for me to finally admit the 20 years of denial of the sexual trauma that my sacral had been storing as a child. And when we allow ourselves, as I allowed myself to move through those chakras, I knew I was reading a journal from that time that I could not carry on those wounds because it would not be stable for my son. And I wanted him to be able to experience his innocence to the fullest. I wanted to protect him from experiencing the same things that my sister and I did, that a lot of women and men, that a lot of boys and girls do. It's not just a gender girl thing. It's something that we get pre-exposed to very soon, very early, and it takes us out of the alignment with that beautiful, sacral, sensual, sacred space within our bodies, our temples, our roots. And as we are in the year of the snake, the kundalini shedding, kundalini rising, the snake skin shedding, this Scorpio full moon is a part of that. Scorpions also shed their hard shells. They're adaptable. They move. They're one of the few creatures that can live in water and land. They're fixed water sign. They go deep into the depths of your emotions, the depth of your feelings, the depth of the areas within us, our shadows, our fears, our desires, our needs. And the moon is highlighting our emotional needs. Where do we need to heal, to grow, to transmute? Where do we need to forgive? Where do we need to release? The full moon is when the cycle comes into its full lunar completion, closing cycles. This Scorpio death transformation full moon is about what cycles are finally ending within yourself, within your family, within humanity. You may be feeling very sensitive, very tired, very stimulated, very emotional. You may be having a hard time staying asleep or sleeping. And all of that is normal and natural. You may be feeling bodily sensations of physical sickness. And I'm not a doctor, so if you feel like you need to go see a doctor about it, then definitely do so. But maybe you're feeling some like gastrointestinal, like feeling kind of nauseous. And again, you use your discernment if you need to go see a doctor. But also take into consideration our ascension symptoms that are elevating us to higher frequencies, that are dissolving the lower densities, clearing out the gunk, the tar from our root, from our sacral, from our solar plexus. That's been doing so much work, and that's the masculine chakras. So the masculine energies within us have also been doing so much work. The masculine collective has been purging, releasing, transmuting, transforming. And I heard the other day that the feminine right now, the best thing we can do for our masculine collective, within ourself, within our external masculine, people, it's not necessarily gender, but I am hearing for the male species as well, to hold space. To hold the space. If you don't know what to do, hold the space. You don't have to fix. You don't have to change. You don't have to fix them. You don't have to change them. You don't have to, say the right thing, do the right thing. Just hold the space for the masculine energy within yourself and just within the collective, for your sons, for your spouses, for your fathers, for your brothers, because they're going through a major recalibration to purge those distorted masculine, old, outdated, karmic, generational, patriarchal, double standard, contradictory cycles. All right, you saw that this card flipped out and I kept chatting, so let's see what it is. The Knight of Wands reverse. I might close the window here just because we have some agricultural, I'm cutting the grass today, which I appreciate. So the Knight of Wands reverse, speaking of the masculine energy, that is fire energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But I'm hearing with this Knight of Wands reverse, that's, very reckless energy, impulsive. That could be again, Mars is one of the ruling planets of Scorpio, and Mars just moved into Leo. And so maybe that's what is coming to an end for you. The recklessness, I'm hearing self-sabotage, the impulsivity, the parts of you that you have to go back and apologize for because maybe you said something in the heat of the moment and it hurt someone. Maybe you did something impulsively in the and you apologize because it was out of your own alignment with self. So I'm hearing that this is the cycle that's coming to an end today. The Nine of Cups reversed as well. Yeah. I'm going to keep them reversed because I think that this is telling. The Nine of Cups reversed is also having everything that you know, materially that you want, but there's still something missing. And that's that final cup of emotional fulfillment. There's something that's still missing emotionally. Whether that is this feeling of, I'm just hearing pride, but it could be that pride and ego. That gives me more Nine of Pentacles energy, but it could be that your pride and ego has prevented you from really being able to reach that final layer of satisfaction. So maybe you accomplished all these things. You went to school, you got your degrees, you got your PhDs, I'm hearing for some. You went to the highest level of school that you could do. You have a job that pays a lot of, has a high paying salary. You have a nice house, you have a nice car, you can afford nice things. But maybe you live alone. Maybe you don't have a partner. Maybe you spent all of your energy trying to accomplish these goals and tasks and check these boxes off that you forgot the one box, the 10th cup, of what really makes me happy. Do I enjoy the work that I do? Do I, this is one of those cliches of money can't buy you happiness. Sure, it can pay your bills and make you feel, being poor can't buy you happiness either, right? But it's that money can't buy you happiness cliche of the Nine of Cups reverse. And maybe that is because you've been in this Knight of Wands reverse of feeling really reckless with your spending or with your behavior, your actions, with your passion, with your sacral. Maybe you've been hypersexual and you can't commit to one partner because you are still trying to fill that space, that void, that 10th cup. And I'm not saying that having a partner in your house to fill the house is what's going to fulfill you. It's about, the Nine of Cups is about self-fulfillment. When it's in reverse, you're missing a part of your self-fulfillment because you've been trying to get it in all these other external material things. And maybe even with a partner. Maybe you still feel unfulfilled in your partnership because you're seeking significance from your significant other. But really and maybe that, again, that goes back to this Knight of Wands. Maybe you've been trying to seek fulfillment, as I was sharing around, sexual trauma, hypersexuality. That is a part of PTSD with sexual trauma, is hypersexuality. Because you're trying to fill the void of sadness of what was, you're trying to, that's how you're taught. That's what you're significant for. That's what you are appreciated for. That's what makes you worthy, because that's what people want from you. But I'm hearing, though, this was actually a download I'm going to share, that those who have experienced sexual trauma are actually the ones that carry potent, sacred superpowers in their sacral chakra. And the sacral chakra is about creation, creativity. It's about bringing your ideas into the fruition. It's about literally creating, birthing. It's about pleasure and abundance. And so for those who have had the post-traumatic stress around the wounds of sexual violation, this is a very specific message, and it may not even reach many people. But I am trusting that this needs to be shared through my own mouth, and whoever finds it and resonates with it needs to hear it. I don't care if it's one person. I don't care if it's 0 people for the next 10 years. But I'm hearing Spirit say it's time to speak your truth. It's time to speak up on what you've learned. It's time to speak up on how you have healed. And I'm hearing that to me specifically because as Chiron in Aries, the wounded healer that the collective is in and has been since 2018. So I'm hearing, if you have been violated from that, your sacral actually holds very, very, very potent, powerful, sacred energy, sacred wisdom. And for those who, for the not the people, but it's the energy. It's not the people that were wanting to destroy that part in you, but it was the opposing energy. It was the forces that don't want that light to be shown, that don't want that power to be seen, because it is such a potent superpower. Because that is where our life force energy is. And so that's why this message is coming through. Thank you, Spirit, as trust yourself. Because when our life mission then becomes to learn how to reclaim our sacral superpower, our solar plexus, our self-will power. That's what's going to fill our 9 of Cups. That's what we're missing right now, is the trust in ourselves to fill the significance that we've been trying to seek in our rambunctious, reckless ways. Drinking, sexing, in ways that are empty is what I'm hearing. Sex is not bad. Sex is actually one of the most healing experiences and activities that humans can have within themselves and each other, because it is from that life force creative. When pleasure is and it's not just pleasure on a sexual sense, but it's a sensual sense, but it's when you feel pleasure, you are in love. When you are in love, you feel pleasure. And so we have just been misguided, and it's on purpose. It's a part of an agenda that is not for our highest sovereign well-being. Why? Because when we fully reclaim our sacred superpowers through the life force chakra of our sacral. This is why I'm so passionate about tantric healing, because that reinforces our ability to trust ourselves. And when we trust ourselves, above others, then we get to cultivate our life, our dream, our purpose, our mission. And that might conflict with someone else's dream for you or desire for their own personal agenda. So they want to keep you small, right? Want to keep you in fear. That's the best tactic. Fear and shame are the best tactics of control. And the lowest vibrational frequency associated with the sacral chakra is actually guilt, which is I did something bad and I feel bad. And then shame, which is the lowest frequency that's associated in your sacral or solar plexus, is shame. Shame is I did something bad, therefore I am bad. You see the difference between guilt and shame? I did something bad, I feel bad, guilt. I did something bad, I am bad. Solar plexus. It shifts your identity about who you see yourself as. So if you feel that now you are wrong, now you are bad, now you are this terrible person, then you cannot trust yourself, your intuition. And therefore you're seeking significance in everything else and everyone else. You're asking them to tell you what to do. You're, working for someone else's dollar, for someone else's dream, because you are afraid to trust yourself. Listen to the sound of the universe, the one verse. Universe is one verse, one soul, one sound, one song. Listen to the sound of I'm hearing your verse, your song, your lyrics. This card has been showing up a lot. So maybe you are writers. For the writers who are alchemists, writing music. As a performing artist myself, writing music, writing lyrics, writing poetry, just journaling in general, dancing, all of that are alchemical transmutations. Whether you play an instrument, all of that is an alchemical transmutation to realign. Look at this. I love this. The chakras. To realign you back to your truth, your true self. To realign you back to the source that you are, the source energy that you are created from. Ooh, look at this. Starting at the root, ground and center. This is so beautiful. We are realigning. This full moon in Scorpio is helping us realign our chakras, cleansing and clearing them, starting with the root, grounding ourselves in conscious love, grounding ourselves in security, stability, recognizing that we are safe. My root chakra affirmation that I say to myself, and I've now taught my son and a couple other people when they're feeling anxious or having some anxiety attacks. I am safe. I am secure. I am nurtured. I am comforted. You can say those over and over. That has helped my son fall asleep when he's feeling scared at night, to fall asleep in his own room because it's dark, because his mind is chattering. He'll say that over and over until he falls asleep. And those are the nights he actually ends up staying asleep in his bed all night. Sometimes he'll wake up in the middle of the night and come snuggle with mama. But that's the thing about mothers, right? We provide, that is our child's, our baby's first 8 years of life is our root chakra development, is what we're learning, what our foundations are, what it means to be safe, what it means to be secure, what it means to be nurtured, what it means to be comforted. And if you've been dealing, if you had gone through some adverse childhood experiences, some trauma, whether it was your parents not being together, or there was some big catastrophe that happened as a child, or sexual trauma, that shifts and uproots your fundamental foundation of safety and security. And if that is not something that gets addressed or healed or cleansed, that will it's like when your feet are messed up. If your feet are messed up, it's going to ruin the entire rest of your body up. Your knees will then go bad, which will hurt your back. Then your back's going to fuck up your neck. Sorry for my French. And then your neck is going to cause migraines. You know, it all starts at the root. It all starts at the root. So Scorpio, that's the beautiful thing about the Scorpio full moon. That's the beautiful thing about Pluto right now in retrograde, is that all of this is supporting us to literally uproot the foundational issues so that we can repave and realign, so that our house, so to speak, is not being built on faulty foundations anymore. And it took me 8 years, I told you 8 years ago is when I finally admitted this truth. And every year I would spend the entire year focusing on on each chakra, starting with the root. And that root, that first year, I went through so much postpartum anxiety and depression, because I was awakening and releasing all these dormant, stuffed down, repressed, suppressed, oppressed emotions around all of this pain. And people wondered why I grew up reckless, why I grew up hypersexual, why I grew up intense and emotional and emotionally dysfunctional. But beloved, I'm here to tell you, it's not that you are dysfunctional. You may not be able to function, but it's not because there's something fundamentally wrong with you, but there is something fundamentally out of alignment with who you are meant to be. I hope this is reaching someone, and I trust that it is. And I thank you, Spirit, for speaking through me and also to me for this. So our next step that we can have and we can take today, set your intentions. What are you releasing for this full moon? So that now you can stay in the present moment, no longer being pulled back to the past, to the wounds, to the pain, so that the cycles can now end and begin here. And I'm getting very emotional because this is a very, very deep topic that I know is not just with me, for me. And it's interesting that I've been so afraid to bring this up, so afraid to even admit it to myself, so afraid to share it to the public because of shame. But the moment I can release that shame, the moment I can tell myself that that is not who I am, that's the moment that I can reroute, realign, refill. Always do your best to stay in the present moment. I know there's a glare. Keep your attention on today and stay in the present moment. This is the beginning of a new understanding. A new dream. Yes. A new cycle. I love that. So release the need to be right. I always see this one, and for some reason I always replace right with perfect. Release the need to be perfect. Release the need to justify. I'm hearing, are you defending the truth? Says Deepak Chopra. The truth needs no defense. The infinity symbols down here. Ending old cycles, beginning new cycles, right? Stay in this present moment. This is how we stay in, and then that's how we begin a new dream. I love this. Right now, in this moment, if we feel like we're having a pain body attack from past traumas, it is coming up because it's being released right now. Not because you're doing anything wrong, beloved. Not because you haven't healed past it. Maybe there are areas within you that you're recognizing that you are still healing. But the tears, the emotions, let that come up and hold space. Thank you, Spirit, for in loving kindness, hold space. Because that is the wounding of your feminine sacral. That is the wounding of your masculine identity. This is really beautiful, really powerful. And I'm also even hearing, whether if you haven't had any of those kind of woundings or traumas, but if you have, for the mothers out there, if you have given birth, that is a trauma in your body. Your body has to, all the organs had to be pushed out of the way to make space, to hold space for the masculine growth of this creation of a baby. It pushes out through your birth canal, through the root chakra. That is a physical trauma that your body does remember. But what makes it traumatic is how you remember it, how you respond to it. Some women give birth and it's magical and they don't have mental trauma from it. They don't, and their bodies bounce back quickly. Why? Because they were at peace. They were in alignment with what was naturally made and built for their bodies to do. They tapped into that root wisdom of what their bodies were meant to do. And so afterwards, they didn't feel like there was a trauma, but their body still did have to realign and calibrate from that physical trauma. But what sticks, what distorts, is when the mental gathers that as something wrong or bad. And if you have gone through experiences that were hurtful, painful, shameful, and out of alignment with who you are, even if it's within alignment with what other people say you should be, you're going to experience that mental trauma. This is what I have learned in my years and years in therapy for sexual trauma healing. I'm not a trauma-informed licensed therapist, but I have gone through lots and lots of work. to be where I am today. And I still have so much more work to do. And so for those of you who have survived, for those of you who are on this path to healing, to aligning, to rerouting, regrounding, recentering, releasing, let Pluto, let Scorpio, let all of it support you in this transformation, because you are onto something very beautiful. You are so beautiful. I'm hearing Christina Aguilera. I am beautiful in every single way. Words can bring me down. Oh no. So don't you bring me down today. You are beautiful, no matter what they say. I hope this helps someone. I hope this reached someone in the way that it needed. Thank you so much for tuning in, beloveds. Thank you so much for being a part of our Vibe Tribe as we're healing the heart of a woman and the soul of mankind through conscious love. And until next time, peace and love. Namaste. Bye.